Hi, this is Tristan Prettyman. I almost lost my voice, and now I sing songs to empower other songwriters and share my story. And this is my episode of LipRoll with Valerie Morehouse.
Welcome to LipRoll. My name is Valerie Morehouse. I have a unique privilege to work with some of today's most influential and iconic voices as a celebrity vocal coach. This is a show where my guests and I are able to peel back the curtain and kind of bring you backstage and paint a picture of what it's like to be an artist, an actor, a broadcaster, and beyond, while still confronting all the challenges of mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. Welcome to LipRoll. Welcome to LipRoll. I'm your host, Valerie Morehouse.
And I'm your co-host, Ella London. Valerie, we have some exciting news today.
What is it?
We have a new handle on our Instagram and Twitter.
That's huge, guys.
Huge. It is at LipRoll Podcast.
Yay! So if you're not following us yet, you know where to find us now.
Yeah. At LipRoll Podcast.
Amazing.
Yay! And even more exciting news, we have a wonderful guest with us today who is going to share with us her journey of vocal recovery and beyond.
Tristan Prettyman, welcome. Yay. Thank you for joining us on LipRoll.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and
so fun.
It's so great to have you. Yay. And there's a really special song that you wrote called Say Anything. Mm-hmm. And I hear you're singing for us today.
I would love to.
We knew what you meant. We knew what you meant.
We're looking at good segue.
I know. Tristan's really intimidating. She's that personality. We're so happy to have you, but we can't wait to hear it. And I think all your fans and our listeners are going to love it. So we're going to let you take it away.
All right, cool.
If I could say anything, what would it be? Good question for a distant reality. I would tell you that I love you, even if it didn't show. I would tell you that I love you, baby, and by now I hope you know. If you could go anywhere, what would you see? Take a step in any direction, just make believe. If your mind is always moving, it's hard to get your heart up off the ground. Yeah, your mind was always moving, while your thoughts never made a sound. And we won't break if we let go, 'cause you and I already know we were bound to be set free eventually. So here we are now, you can say anything. If I could have it go anyway, it'd go like this. Take it back to a couple years yesterday, to our first kiss. In that moment I loved you. It's just now I ever saw it going down. In that moment I loved you. I wish I knew then what I know now. And we won't break if we let go, 'cause you and I already know we were bound to be set free eventually. So here we are now, you could say anything. You could say anything. You should listen to your heart. It's gonna tell you what you need. So take care of yourself and don't you worry about me. You should listen to your heart. Oh, it's gonna tell you what you need. And Take care of yourself, and don't you worry about me. And we won't break if we let go, 'cause you and I already know we were bound to be set free eventually. So here we are now, you couldn't say anything. You can say anything. You can say anything. You can say anything. Always say anything.
That was amazing. I love that song. I was just saying, I don't think that you and I had worked on that song before.
I don't think so.
We'd worked on My Oh My.
Yep.
And you said something to me about the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Which I loved working on, but that's another tale. That's another tale
I
to
did
tell.
love working on that actually, because you taught me line by line the meaning of the entire song.
Right.
It is still one of the hardest songs to sing, though, I feel like.
Yeah, and speaking of the meaning of Star Spangled Banner, I was lip syncing during you singing, especially the chorus of that song, of your song, Say Anything. Can you just dive into the meaning of that and what inspired you to write it?
Yeah, I mean, Say Anything is one that is definitely near and dear to my heart, because I wrote that song literally the day before I was going in for vocal surgery. Mm-hmm. And I kind of had this thought of like, I hadn't given it much, it hadn't really hit me the kind of the depth
gravity of
like vocal surgery.
What was happening,
you know, it just
right.
seemed like, okay, I'm doing it, and I had been doing like the speech therapy, and we were working together, I think, at that point. And then that day before, it all kind of hit me at once, and I thought, oh my gosh, what if I lose my voice? What if it's never the same? What if something goes wrong? Mm-hmm. And so I wrote that song as kind of I was also in a relationship at the time that was I intuitively knew it was kind of going south.
I remember all the relationships and all the stories. I love it. So
it's like you, my trainer, my hair person, all know.
We're all giving you advice.
The timeline.
Now. Yeah.
And I intuitively knew that was kind of like going south. And so that Say Anything was kind of the song that I wrote that was like, okay, if this is the last chance I have to actually say something, like, what do I want to say? Yeah. And just a reminder to speak your truth and to trust your intuition, and to try not to let like fear take override.
Yeah. Just gratitude too, just being in the moment, being present, I think too. And like realizing that, I mean, that's big. You realize most people going into surgery, I don't know. Everything think different things go through different people's minds, but that's pretty profound. And that we talk a lot about surgery and people who've had to have surgery on the show, and it's very scary for singers. It's like, that's your moneymaker. Yeah. Right. That's how you just communicate as a human being.
Like you said, it's how you tell your story. And I mean, it was polyps that you had on your vocal cords, right?
Yeah. So I had 2 polyps. You know, I never was trained professionally how to sing. It was always just a hobby. I did work with a vocal coach really early on, just to kind of teach me how to breathe properly and that sort of thing. But yeah, over the years had developed a polyp on one side, and then that started hitting the other side. And then by the time it was so normal for me to be on the road and lose my voice at least 1 or 2 times. And I just thought that's normal. You know, we're on the road, we're out for 6 to 8 weeks at a time. We have, 3 shows a day off, 2 shows a day off, 3, a grueling travel. And I just figured, that's just part of the deal. And then I think I started working with Valerie and realized that's not how it should be.
Yeah.
And, you really taught me the being of the mindset of like a football player never goes out to the Super Bowl with no practice. You have to put in the work.
I love that she remembered that.
You have to
all
maintain,
these years.
you have to condition, you have to use that muscle, you have to train to be ready for the game. And I had never really thought about it that way before.
And just because you have natural ability as an athlete doesn't mean that you don't strength train with your team, right? I say this over and over and over. Yeah. But it is true. And I think that's a really good analogy for all my singers, is they're like, gosh, I've never really thought about it being so athletic. But the vocal cords are muscles, and we have to treat them like an athlete,
Yeah.
you know? So, and if you don't, you are going to crash and burn on tour, and you are going to have nodes and polyps and all those things. So, go ahead.
And it trips me out when I think back, because I was doing so much touring in the beginning where I wasn't doing vocal warm-ups.
Right.
I didn't know anything about taking care of my voice. I'm surprised I even lasted as long as I
you
did,
just,
or was able to even do it.
You're hitting it cold. And what you find is a lot of singers, when they cross over, sometimes the threshold to me in my career I've seen is like 22 or 25. Those seem to be the two markers. And once you've passed that threshold as an artist, shit starts to go downhill real fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like it catches up with you.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it really.
Metabolism slows down a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit, just a little bit.
Gotta work a little harder.
But you know, so it's like, I mean, obviously with Valerie, and then, you know, I think just a bit of fun fact, just I want to pop in there with that song Say Anything, and I think that just kind of relate back to you post surgery, is your song was actually featured in the movie Safe Haven.
Yes.
Which I love that movie.
Yes.
For one reason is because she paints her floor yellow.
Oh, well, of course.
I do remember that, yeah.
But that's a whole aside there. But, you know, I think that you know, the name of the movie being Safe Haven is, I think, very relates back to after surgery, finding your voice, and that journey with Valerie, week after week. And
I knew you were going to be okay, because I had been through it before, not myself, but with clients, you know what I mean? So I think, because we met through Christina Perry.
We
right?
did, yes.
Yeah, so she introduced us.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that I was so happy to hear, because I haven't heard you sing in a while, you've been a little bit off the grid, and now you're kind of coming back onto the grid.
Yes.
You had some beautiful natural vibrato in there, just enough.
I wanted to bring the vibrato up because I feel like that's my weak spot.
Yeah.
And me and the vibrato, but then I'll sing like the Little Mermaid, and I'm like, oh.
But it's good because, you know, even though
that's all
singers don't always use it in their music and in their songs, you have to use it because it's football. It's tires on the field.
I think I probably used it accidentally, but I'm glad
Which you did, but
it's ingrained in there somewhere.
But it's so slight, and it causes the singer not to go off key, you know, and it keeps the voice malleable and bendy and moving. And so it's really important to have it. And if you have a little bit of ghost in there, like ghost vibrato in the song, that's what you want to keep it moving. Not every single thing has to be clipped.
It's like when you're driving and you hit the little tire bump on the side to keep you in the lane.
Exactly.
I love that analogy. That's really cool.
We're just
gonna swap analogies.
My creative brain is coming back.
So as you know, I mean, because I knew a little bit. We met while you were at the studio for a little bit, but you know, what was that journey like for you, refinding your voice after going through surgery, and you know, how did surgery go?
You know, I feel like my whole career, you know, I've had a manager and I've had a team around me, but I've never, you know, had a support team. And so I feel like when I feel like the vocal issue was a blessing and I don't want to call it a curse, but there was a lot of blessings hidden in there, like where I really discovered like having a team, someone to work on my voice with me, having a speech therapist, having a vocal doctor, having like a team of people looking out for me. And that definitely made going through the vocal surgery, I was less nervous, knowing that I had this team of people that was going to be there, you know, because I was doing speech therapy. We were working together because I remember we wanted to try everything. You especially were like, I want to try everything that we can to see if we can avoid having the surgery.
Right.
And so I feel like we worked together for like 5 or 6 months, and then
we made the decision to pull the trigger because the polyps are harder to get rid of on their own. Usually there is a surgery involved. It depends on the different kinds of polyps.
Yeah.
And without a laryngologist, I'm not going to go too far out of my lane, but I have been working with this type of thing for over 20 years.
You know Raina, who did my surgery.
Yeah. So, we had her on the show.
Yes, she's incredible.
Yeah, she came on the show. So, you know, you want to do everything you can to keep the person out of surgery. But what that did was it gave you your baseline so that when you got out of surgery, you knew how to speak and how to talk and how to sing and how to use your instrument and keep it safe.
Absolutely.
So that you didn't just have surgery and then go back to all the same bad habits.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win for artists both ways. And so that's why I like to take that time and if they ultimately have to have surgery, that's okay.
Yeah. And that was really comforting, knowing that when I got out of, you know, when I did recover, that I had Valerie and a team of, you know, my doctor and the speech therapist looking out for me, and we're gonna essentially take this like clean slate and actually develop it properly.
Yeah.
And even just being out of being off the road for the last 4 years, I can't remember the last time I lost my voice. Or if I do go play a show, you know, I know how to warm up. I know my mom was telling me even as a kid that I had I had a stutter.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I almost I didn't learn how to talk properly as a child even. So all of these things later in life have strengthened my voice and kept it strong.
Yeah.
Which has been, feel incredibly lucky to have discovered those tools and the resources and the people to have around me.
And it's not on everybody's radar, you know, when you're young. It's like the girls that have that vocal identity where they talk like that, like, yeah, everything's fine.
The fry.
The vocal fry, as a teen. And I tell people that, you know, that's usually protection. You know, men just go hit a bag, boys. You know, girls are more like, yeah, it's fine. I don't let my girls talk like that. It makes me nuts. I'm like, you sound really dumb.
Well, I'll start talking like that, and I'm like, no, talk with your full voice, you know? And I can feel the difference, which is wild to me.
And what they don't do is they end up growing up and they've matured in their brain and in their bodies, and they might be in their 20s now, but their vocal identity is still the same as it was when they were 15, 14, 13. And so we've got to catch that up. And nobody really does that, you know? Not a lot of people do that.
And I think, you know, that whole aspect of vocal health, which you found on your journey, and that Valerie is just like, that's her whole mission is vocal health. And I love that, you know, you found her for your journey in recovery, because I mean, today, I mean, beautiful.
So
I just want to listen to you singing all the time. But you know, one of the things that I love on LipRoll is we're always talking about spiritual, mental, and physical health as it relates to our voices. And I think that one of the things that we found out about you was that you are a certified health coach.
I love it.
And that and you founded a company that is all surrounding that. You know, can you Give us some update on that.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this on the drive up here, actually, because it was also when I changed. It wasn't until I worked with Reina Gupta that I realized that we put together that anytime, because I used to love like sliders, like cheeseburger sliders. And I would go up to see her, and she'd be like, what did you eat last night? Like, your vocal cords are just covered in mucus, you know? And it would be like anytime I ate a cheeseburger, my vocal cords were just like covered in mucus.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking on the way up here, I think that is really kind of what sparked, like, touring and just trying to remain healthy on the road, as healthy as I was at home. And also combined with the learning and taking care of my vocal cords and my voice, kind of really propelled me into this other direction of natural healing and wellness. And I've always loved to cook. I've always been into like healing, you know, Ayurvedically, or just with natural medicine, with foods, and, you know, taking care of my body. And it all goes together, right? Like, you're taking care of your voice, you're taking care of your body, like you need to build endurance, all these things that come together to make it so that you're solid on the road and solid off the road, and you have smooth transitions. So when my son was born, I went back to school because I never went to college, and I studied integrative nutrition, and I got certified as a health coach.
Very cool.
I took on a couple clients. I still got a couple now. It's super fun for me.
Wow. What's the company's name?
It's called thegoodpath.com.
Oh, I love it.
So I actually have a tattoo on my arm that I got in Bali.
That's cool.
Find and follow the good path.
Oh, I love that.
And so I named my company after that, which was like just encouraging people to
synchronicity. Yeah, I mean, because everything is tied in, and we always talk about that. It's like, for me as a teacher, it's not really just about dealing with the singer technically. Half of the time, if not more, it's about their mental and their physical health, because if your mental and your physical health isn't good, or you don't feel well, you don't feel well on the road, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're drinking too much, you're jet lagged, all of that, you're dry, all of those things, if those things are off kilter, the voice is off kilter, like nothing is balanced. And so we're constantly having to deal with both. Like, get him a vitamin C drip, you know, get him some multivitamins, let's look at some more sleep, let's go on a voice rest. So for me, it's being a vocal advocate. And I love that you created something that ties together, right?
So it's very similar, because I'm always telling clients, like, you could be eating so clean, you could be super focused, you could be eating all organic and all your fruits and vegetables. But if your relationship sucks, or your job sucks, or you're depressed, it doesn't matter how much kale you're eating. You got to have the balance as a whole. And that was the thing on the road, is I started to get into like green smoothies and organic and growing food, you know, in my 20s. How did you do
that? I mean, how did you do that on the road? It seems like, you know, because everything's fast food. How did you do it?
I'm a problem solver. I love solving a problem.
Give us some tips. Give us some tips for artists.
Well, so I would be making smoothies at home, right? And then I go on the road, and we'd be eating like fast food and like in the van, and like, I don't know, there's no Whole Foods back then. And my pants wouldn't fit on stage, and my face would be breaking out, and I'd be oily, and I'd be like, oh, I feel like disgusting, you know, and I wouldn't want to go on stage.
Right. But the food on tour can be poison.
Oh my gosh, I think it's like pizza. And,
So what did you do to transition? Was it like,
I just figured out a way to bring it on the road.
Yeah.
So for my rider, at shows, I would say avocados, kale. If you can bring us a blender, if you can bring us a bowl and a knife and a cutting board. And luckily my band was so on board. My guitar player Steve's just like, oh yeah, let's make guacamole. You know, and we're just like, and it just kind of evolved into this thing. And then when we would be on a bus, I would bring my Vitamix. I'd have a Pelican case full of all my superfoods. I'd be making smoothies. We had a steamer basket, so we'd be like steaming broccoli and making pasta, and we had a rice cooker, and like I had a diffuser and essential oils. Like in that first tour that we did, not one person got sick.
Isn't that interesting? The essential oils are humongous. I use them on my kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's as the song Say Anything says, like, I wish I knew then what I know now. Like, if I could go back in my 20s with all the knowledge I have now about how to stay healthy on the road and just... And so back to, like, just the vocal health part, when I eliminated the dairy and meat out of my diet, personally for me, I had because I just was having so much mucus on my cords. I got rid of all that. And then I had less stuffiness in my nose.
No brain fog.
Sinus pathway was so clear when I did that. And so just little things like that, like tuning into your body, knowing what works. And so when I would tour, I would just do no dairy, no meat, no wheat.
Brilliant.
And then and then at home I would still eat it, or if I didn't have a show or something like that. But now I've kind of gradually...
You do what I kind of like the 80-20. I'm
like mostly plant-based, but I still eat a little fish. I'm not afraid if there's like cheese on something.
Everybody's body's a little bit different. I know we need to get on to Morocco, I know, but I want to
talk. I want to talk Morocco.
I do, but I want to finish on this too, because that's
so really good. It's vocal health is so important.
It's a full thing, right? Like it's like you're saying, it's a full
spectrum.
You know, your health, your wellness, your body, your fitness.
I do no bread, no dairy, no sugar.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Yeah.
So you know, people are like, how come you
super low inflammatory?
And collagen.
And I think that I mean, absolutely, with the vocal health and just to kind of segue into Morocco, because I love Morocco and I haven't been and I really want to go. So I was like looking at all of your photos on there. But we saw that you use a lot of what Valerie does with her clients, which is the mantras. I really love them, and I actually cut them out, and I thought it'd be fun for us to share them with the LipRoll audience, because they were really cool, the little mantras that you posted in your stories.
So this was actually the hotel we stayed at, is called Peacock Pavilions.
Oh, I get one.
A bunch of their proceeds go to support a program called Project SOAR, which is the program that was created in Morocco as an after-school program for young girls. Most girls in Morocco and Africa, you know, they're married really young, like 13. If they stay in school, they have like a 85% less chance of getting married, and they have a more opportunity to develop their passions and their what they're curious about. And so they've created this after school program that the girls go to, and they develop their passion. So our group went, and then we all talked about what we did. So I was like, I'm a singer, and this person's an interior designer, this person's a lawyer. And it gives the girls an idea of like, wow, I could be like any
what
of
they
these
can
things.
do.
And now they're creating like a YouTube channel. And so the hotel is actually...
That's cool.
This is awesome.
Well, I'll lead here. I said, I choose to make the rest of my life the best of my life.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I really love that one. I was like, yes, I choose.
Go ahead. I'll go last. What do you have, Tristan?
I love this one because
Yeah.
it's very appropriate to my life right now. How to stop time, Kiss. How to travel in time, read. How to escape time, music. How to feel time, write. And how to release time, breathe.
Ooh, I need that.
Namaste.
I'm always telling my clients, if you're having a panic attack, cage breathe. And then I have to remember to do it.
Yeah.
There's too much going on. I love that one. I need that one. All right. I don't have my glasses, so this just happened. All right. Treat yourself the way you would treat a small child. Feel yourself healthy, food, and make sure you spend time outside. Put yourself to bed early. Let yourself take naps. Don't say mean things to yourself. Don't put yourself in danger. Your skull and heart are still as fragile as eggshells. I do take naps, though. I'm just letting you know.
I need to take
But I don't meditate
I
enough.
need to go to bed earlier. That's my thing
Same.
for sure. But
Sleep
but
is my
yeah.
highest currency, so I'm in bed early.
Sleep
and
is so underrated.
It's my highest
It is-
currency.
If I could recommend anything to anyone for healing, sleep.
Yeah, I go home and
Sleep it
catch a
off.
20-minute nap. I got
for
into
you.
it after I became a mother.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You know, I had
gotta
an
start
Eastern
napping one
doctor
way.
before we wrap say to me once, "Oh, if you did all this and took all these vitamins, this is why everybody has a different story." She said you wouldn't need to nap, and I'm like, your child is 26. I'm almost the same age as her, like rolling into 50. And I said, my kids are
Not
still
looking a day over 30.
Thank you, Tristan. Collagen. I'm drinking it all the time.
I love the
No bread, no
collagen.
dairy, no sugar. And I said, but you know what? Everybody's different. I said, she's like, you don't need to nap. And I said, well, my kids are young, and I have 3 full-time jobs, so I fucking need to nap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my
sleep
nap.
is where we regenerate, where we detox, where we rebuild ourselves. It's so important.
So important. And I think going back to your mantra of like, stopping time, kiss, travel in time, read, how to escape time, music, how to feel time, write. And when I was reading that, the thing that I immediately thought of with you is your new music that is coming out.
We're very
soon.
excited.
I'm
You're back. Yes.
Do we have any sneak peeks or any kind of like things that you can share or just say?
Man.
Or like,
so I was told I can't share right now, but it's
That's
coming
okay.
soon. But it's coming soon.
Yeah.
It's different. It's I got divorced about a year ago. So there's a new song that touches on that. That's a very like bittersweet but beautiful, like hopeful, classic TP song.
Yeah.
And then some of the other newer stuff is very like, it's kind of Lana Del Rey. It has like beats. It's a little bit loungy, which I've always loved. I love hip hop.
Yeah.
My background in music is just like kind of all over the place. Like my mom was an aerobic instructor, so I had all the Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson, all the pop and urban.
Right.
My dad loved Cat Stevens and Jackson Brown. My brother is 7 years older and was into Metallica. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I have this like very eclectic
yeah.
appreciation for music, but I just love hip hop and beats and anything that kind of makes you move. And I've been wanting to explore more in that direction. So I think taking a couple years off and just now being off a record label without a manager, kind of just on my own, and just having that pause allowed me to kind of come in and just explore music with a fresh perspective and kind of go where I like intuitively wanted to go, not where I thought, oh, you need to do this or this is who you are, and put myself in a box, because I think that's really easy to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Know your audience, and you have to do what they want. And so now I'm just kind of approaching it with like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. Whatever
it's gotta be-
put it all out and see what happens.
It's got to be different, right?
And I think those songs are in me, like a Say Anything song. Like those songs are in me. They're like part of my soul. But I also have this other area that I've always wanted to explore.
Yeah.
It's a little bit sassy. It's a little bit sexy. It's a little bit like naughty.
Yeah.
And I never really got to explore it. And So I'm going there now, and
Yeah.
I'm 37. Like it's now or never. Like I'm going there.
I love that. No, I think it's all about telling your truth and who you are, and I think your audience will follow you to that because they follow you and your journey. I think that's really special.
And with more maturity and more time in life and more experiences comes deeper music and bigger risks.
Yeah.
So, and that's what being, a musician is all about. So
Yeah.
we can't wait to hear it.
Yay.
I'm very excited.
It's been good. It's been a lot of living. I realized if you don't have anything to say, you don't have a song. So
That's it.
You got to live a little and experience
Yeah.
and take that time, and then
Yeah.
take the time to like absorb it and integrate it, and then
100%.
Great.
Tristan, it's been so good having you on LipRoll today.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
so
you for
glad you
having
came and
me.
joined.
I'm
You
honored
joined
that
us
you'd
today.
ask.
I think our fans are
Exactly.
really going to take a page out of your book. And do we have anything else?
Yeah, where can they find you so they can follow you for when your music comes out?
So I'm mostly on Instagram, which is just Tristan Prettyman, and
Tristan with an A, right?
yes, Tristan. And then I'm really just on Instagram. I don't have a Twitter. It was so funny. I deleted my Twitter, and everyone was like, "Are you crazy?" And I was like, "I don't like it. It doesn't work for me."
I'm
So
with
I
you,
deleted
girl.
it.
It's all good.
Nothing against
we love-
Twitter.
we
We
love
love
Instagram.
Twitter.
I love
but-
Twitter. I think it's amazing, but I just
Yeah.
was like, it's not me.
It's a
And
personal
so-
choice. Yeah.
and my website's so out of date, but I'm mostly just on Instagram. So-
Great.
or you can
Great.
email me. You can go to my website and email me. I'll probably email you back.
Ooh,
Amazing.
I'm going to try that.
Amazing.
All right,
Well,
perfect.
thanks for
Thank you,
joining us
Tristan.
today.
Thank you for having
All
me.
right.